Hi everyone, Mike White here. Welcome to this week's blog post. Boy, I tell you, every time we think we've got a handle on what's going on, the markets or something goes haywire, and the whole thing kind of goes crazy. So, we've never seen this level of volatility before. Let's be honest. We're almost accepting of 100 basis point movements in the course of any given day. All of the news surrounding by, you know, the disconnect with traditional measurements and the relationships between the bond market and the stock market, or things like that, or even where mortgage bonds are pricing within companies based upon where the mortgage bonds themselves are trading in the secondary market. Uh, we've got that to be an issue, but we've also got dealing with things that are changing on a regular basis between, almost minute by minute, between coronavirus, capacity issues, and to be honest with you, political bias in the news reporting that's being put out there, which leaves everybody, professionals and clients and referral partners alike, struggling to try to understand what the truth is and where they're going to find answers. And for many of us today, we're dealing with such volatility and such things that don't make sense, where for all practical purposes, the UMBS 32.5% coupon is not that far from where it was in February, but many of us are seeing interest rate locks, if you can get them, at 4% or higher. And that again has to do with capacity issues and just what's going on. So this increased volume and the additional of all this uncertainty and this volatility really equals stress. It's stress for you, it's stress for your clients, your referral partners, and your team. And while opportunities are really still going to be exceptional, and while I believe the opportunity for loans are going to continue to be good and improve, I think the market will do. We've got to deal with a little bit of market settling over the next couple of weeks and learn to deal with this. And I think my message to all of you is, you've got to stay within your lane of what your company and what your team can do, because each of us is not the same. We have different companies or different investors that we use, or different products and programs in different marketplaces that get treated differently. And so you've got to be clear on what your expectations are and what your company or your position is going to be, and then guide your team and your clients and your referral partners to a really successful conclusion. And that's going to be being honest with what's happening and learning to manage your own stress of the situation. Because let's be honest, if you become frazzled, there's not a lot of help that your clients are going to get, and a lot of support that you're going to see for that. So here are a few things that I've gone over with my clients the last few days, and I guess it's what I call the 7 tools to use to help manage your own stress in this circumstance. And item number 1 on that list is be very clear about your process and how your clients go from contacting you to closing. Be really clear about what the process is for both your purchases and your refis. And that becomes really clear. Know what it is that the process looks like and advise them accordingly. The second item is to set firm timelines and managing expectations about what's going on and when it needs to be done. Now, this varies a little bit when it comes to purchases, because the purchases have a contractual obligation, so that doesn't change much. But if you're dealing with your refinances, again, you have to look at your company's situation and what you're doing and what that looks like. And it really becomes important not to get involved in playing, the rate game with anybody. If somebody's serious about doing a refinance, let's do what we need to do and get them ready, and then allow the market to help us complete the task. The third thing is to schedule your work time and your rest time, because nobody works well when they're all over the place and they're frazzled, and nobody can put up with, working 18-hour days indefinitely. You've got to set up your time to relax. You've got to set up the time that you're going to rest and do the things to take care of yourself. That is really important. And what many loan officers and managers don't do right now is disconnect and unplug, even if it's only for 10 or 15 minutes here and there, or an hour or two here and there, or taking a day, out of the loop, to compose yourself and get back into it over the weekend. Because the reality of this is this is a very stressful time, and there's a lot of unknowns, and then that becomes the issue. The fourth item here is your communication. As always, communicating with your clients and your referral partners is even more critical now than ever. And you got to be clear and consistent in your messaging. Again, be 100% truthful about what the circumstances are, and be 100% truthful when they change. It's a lot easier being proactive than reactive here, and keeping it all calm and in perspective. The fifth thing is you must know your own situation inside your company, because what's going on inside your own company could be completely different than what other companies are experiencing. And you need to know what the situation is. And as I said before, stay in your lane. Your company, you're working for them. There could be any number of reasons why your pricing is where your pricing is. You don't have to justify it or try to explain it to anybody right now. Over the next couple of weeks, until this thing gets squared away, and again, if you look at where bond prices are versus where your rate sheet is, you only have to look back to the end of February to see that where we are today versus where we were then, there's not even a remote connection between what they look like. And so it is important to understand that this is a temporary situation, and I believe rates are going to continue downward, and again, it's going to take some time to kind of sort through this out. And again, each company's different. The next thing on the list is, don't be afraid to say no. If somebody comes to you with an unrealistic expectation, if somebody's demanding that they get a certain rate, or they're going to get a certain product that you can't deliver on, don't try to compete on something you can't compete in. There's nothing wrong with you saying, no, we're not priced there, we can't do that. I'm not in a position to do that. It's not a pricing, or it's not a loan program, or it's not something, or a timeline that we can meet. And last but not least, make sure you take care of yourself, because again, none of this is worthwhile if you suffer the consequences or run yourself down. So higher volumes and volatility not only stress your systems and your team, but they stress your body. And it's more important now than ever that you do a great job and provide a better experience to your clients and your referral partners than it is to do an extra deal or two. So in the long run, use this time to understand your business and your team. The good news is that repetition helps you master your craft. And the more you do, the better you're going to get at dealing with this. For those of you who are running teams and or managers of other people, be aware of potential burnout or meltdowns. People can get themselves stressed and they won't relax. And it's up to you to try to spot some of this. And be sure all the members of your teams are taking breaks. Most importantly, resting and hydrating, and being complimented, or you being complimentary of them doing a great job under some really challenging, circumstances. And maybe, again, coronavirus aside, think about a team event, or a lunch, or a dinner, or a happy hour, or something that you can do as a group, maybe a trip to Dave and Buster's, or a bowling alley, or, Golf Plus, or something fun to do to kind of just blow off some steam. And again, different parts of the country, you guys may be, not more likely or less likely to do that because of fear of, coronavirus or whatever it is. And I understand if people feel that way. Many of you that I work with on a regular basis have already had their schools shut down and things like that are happening. But this is a really great opportunity, regardless of all the stress that's involved in the volatility, but it's still a great opportunity for you guys to learn to manage your team and your systems and your stress, because stress can break everything and everybody beyond repair. So you need time to schedule yourself, schedule your own success, manage the stress, as well as the opportunities for both the short term and the long term goals. And always, if I can be of any help, if you have any questions or comments, it's Mike at imtcoaching.com. Take care.